Good evening, everybody. It's just after 7 on a Monday night, and it's time to go wild. Welcome to the Time to Go Wild radio show here on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. We are also live across the internet on ws.hcr923fm.com/listen and on TuneIn. You can contact the show, radio@widnesworld.co.uk and via Facebook and Twitter.com/TTGW Radio. You can contact us by telephone 01928 835 291 and by text 07716 672 874. Start your messages with TTGW. All messages charged at your standard network rate. I hope you're ready. It's time to go wild. Oh, evening all.
Evening.
How's things then, Doug?
All right, mate.
Oh, it was an interesting weekend, I think, for everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah, double headers always are, aren't they?
Yeah, plenty going on. I suppose I better hit the magic button and let everyone know what's been going on.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, classified results for the last week across the Elite Ice Hockey League and NIHL Division 1 North 1 and 2. Starting with Wednesday in the Elite Ice Hockey League, Coventry Blaze 7, Edinburgh Capitals 1. On Thursday, Milton Keynes 7, Edinburgh Capitals 2. Moving on to Saturday, Manchester Storm 9, Edinburgh Capitals 0. Dundee Stars 2, Guildford Flames 3 after overtime. Fife Flyers 2, Sheffield Steelers 1 after overtime. Braehead Clan 3, Belfast Giants 4 after overtime. Nottingham Panthers 4, Milton Keynes Lightning 3 after overtime. Moving to Sunday in the Elite League, Coventry Blaze 2, Nottingham Panthers 3, Sheffield Steelers 6, Braehead Clan 0, Fife Flyers 3, Cardiff Devils 5, Milton Keynes Lightning 3, Manchester Storm 2, Edinburgh Capitals 3, Belfast Giants 4, and Guildford Flames against the Dundee Stars was abandoned due to an ice fault. Moving to the Challenge Cup in the Elite Ice Hockey League from Friday, Braehead Clan 2, Sheffield Steelers 3 after overtime. Cardiff Devils 7, Coventry Blaze 2 on Saturday. Now moving down to the NIHL Division 1 North. Saturday, Blackburn Hawks D1 6, Whitley Warriors 2. Hull Pirates 8, Solihull Barons 7 after overtime. Solway Sharks 0, Telford Tigers D1 3. Sunday's results: Whitley Warriors 4, Solway Sharks 2. Dragons D1 1, Solihull Barons 11. And the Nottingham Lions 0, Sheffield Steel Dogs 6. Finally with the NIHL Division 2 North. Saturday's results: Coventry Blaze NIHL 1, Widnes Wild 6. Sheffield Senators 0, Altrincham Aces 6. And finally from Sunday, Altrincham Aces 3, Sutton Sting 5, Hull Jets 13, Dragons D2 1, Blackburn Hawks D2 0, Bradford Bulldogs 12, and RTL Widnes Wild 6, Telford Tigers 2. And that's your results for the last week. Well, plenty of talking points from that little lot, weren't there?
Yeah, I like the Solihull one. There's 15 goals.
Yeah.
The net is asleep.
Where are we? Solihull.
8-7.
Solihull Barons 11, Dragons D1 1. Yikes. Yeah, it's getting a bit busy for them. And then an 8-7 against the Hull Pirates.
Yeah, that's must have been a good game to watch that.
Yeah, a bit of a goal fest. I feel sorry for anyone doing highlights of that one. Yeah, enough said about.
I think there was enough going on with our games.
Yeah.
And we must say thank you to Sutton Sting.
Yes, yeah. You may say that I could possibly comment, but yeah, Sutton Sting ending the Altrincham Aces unbeaten run after Sheffield ended Widnes' unbeaten run.
Yes.
So, yeah, as we say each week, anything can happen in the league, and it has happened. So, well, last night I had a few events, but with on the ice as well as sort of around the ice.
There was, quite a lot of blood on the ice last night.
Yeah.
First time I've seen refs and linos cleaning up.
Plenty of blood, but yeah, just one of those
and
days.
Mikey Gilbert's shirt is going to claim an assist because Bracey was wearing it.
Yeah.
Because apparently had blood all over the back of his. So, shall we introduce our guests?
We'll play a song first.
Go on
account of him, because, well, you know who he is. The guest's Lee Kemp, but this is a bit of Bob Marley first. And I shot the sheriff, but I wouldn't shoot Lee Kemp. Bit of Bob Marley for our guest tonight, the sheriff himself, Lee Kemp. Evening, Lee.
Hi guys, you're right.
Thanks for coming on. Oh, so your thoughts on well, we'll start with Saturday then. How was that one?
It was a good game. Coventry's kind of like one of those teams now where it's quite hard to go to. It's quite a hard rink, and they've added a few players now, a bit of youth, so they've got speed, and they've got Robert Perks from Nottingham, so a bit of physicality as well. So yeah, I think we had to dig deep because we went with about 9 forwards and about 4D, so
yeah, I'm just
playing forward.
I'm just looking at the game sheet here. Yeah, very short bench.
Yeah, so yeah, we had to dig deep as a team, but you know, we won it in the end, so it's all good.
We did that last year then with Coventry. We went short benched and won.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of like a thingy, isn't it? Like when you go to Cov at 7:30 on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
You know, it's a long way to go, but if lads have got other commitments or anything like that. But we seem to, come together as a team more when we've got less people.
Mm-hmm.
You can stay in the game more, keep warm,
get more ice time,
and then it's a bit of a disadvantage at times, but almost better as well.
I suppose you don't get a chance to sort of switch off. You've no sooner come off the ice than you're sort of thinking, oh well, when am I next back on? And
exactly, yeah, that's exactly it.
But
like once you get probably 40 seconds, if that, and then you could almost be straight back on. So yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, you got yourself a little bit of a slapped wrist, didn't you?
Yeah, towards the end of the third.
I wasn't able to make the game, so what just tell our listeners and those who couldn't make it what happened to
Coventry's just
slapped wrist.
Coventry's got a player that just grates on me, and a few of the other lads, and he was just skating down. I think he almost did like a bit of a dump and chase, I'm not sure, but he was coming back with a D and he just slid on his knees and completely wiped out Croyle. He's done a flip, and there's a bit of a melee in front, and I was the next D-man on, and so I've gone on the ice and thought I'll just skate around, and he was coming back towards the players' benches, so I've had a bit of a turn around and gone over to him and just said a few little words, nothing bad.
How rude of you was it?
I just thought I'd give him a piece of my mind, and he just said something to me that I didn't like, so yeah, I just dropped the glove and gave him 1 or 2, and then he fell down.
Oh dear.
Just turtled.
Oh dear.
So yeah,
no blood this time though.
Not on this occasion, no.
And last night was a complete difference, wasn't it?
It
was blood, and more blood.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as though it was nasty. It was just in minor
completely
incidents.
Accidentals, I think, on both occasions. I think I got the first one, and I think his head just hit my shoulder, I think, and he went down, and there was a bit of blood on that.
Why did they go down like a sack of potatoes?
He made a bit of a meal of that, definitely. And I think Ollie's was on his follow through from a shot.
It was. I was watching that back, and the Telford players trying to go down, bending to sort of block the play, and Ollie's already well on his backswing.
Yeah,
and it's a case of, you can see as he follows through, it's like sort of a reverse of the incident from the previous home game where Ollie looked from one angle, it looked like Ollie got an elbow to the head.
Yeah.
But it was the angle Ollie's coming in. The player's already started to come off the backswing and goes through, sort of follows through on either. Trying to remember if it's backswing or the front swing, and the way Ollie's coming in, he gets caught in a similar one with that. It was one of those on the play incidents.
Yeah, it's just one of those that you kind of can't prevent, really.
Yeah.
So,
as they always say, keep your head up.
Well, yeah.
And on top of that, then we had to have it was a little bit of in some people's minds controversy, but it wasn't really controversy about ending the second period early. I mean,
yeah, 1 minute and 8 seconds.
I mean, there is a rule about allowing for equipment to be fixed, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there is. I think you mentioned earlier it was about 5 minutes or so.
And I've come across something.
You know, obviously, I'm not a goalie, but I'm sure it can take a bit of a longer, especially when you're on the ice. And as far as I'm aware, the ref got confirmation from both sides to end it early. Both sides agreed to it. So we headed off, but their coach kind of did a bit of a U-turn, and he was just spitting his dummy out a bit. And
I think the captain had agreed and not gone to the coach. So
I think it was the captain and the goalie, I think.
Yeah.
He asked both goalies and they agreed. And just the coach just didn't want it. But
I mean, I could understand it if it's sort of like halfway through the period and there's the mask's got a fault, but it can be fixed, but you have to take it off. Swap goaltenders around, fair enough. You've got 2 goaltenders, but it's one of those things where if you've got that 5 minute allowance and you've only got a minute and eight to play,
well, you would have stood around for 5 minutes getting cold, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So it would have been pointless, really.
Just head back to the change room and get it over and done with, and
resurface the ice. You come out, you play that final minute. You don't even stood around for 5 minutes to change ends.
Straight back into the third. So worked out better for us. So that's all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the goals. I mean, you were caught napping in the first.
Was that the first seconds?
30 seconds, I think it was.
28 seconds.
Yeah.
28 seconds. Actually, Charlie Hamilton had a good game. He got the 2 goals for them, and credit to that first goal. It was very well taken.
Yeah,
really
I think bit of misjudgment from our point. I think D were a bit too far apart, but well taken. They saw the breakaway opportunity, they took it, and I think Pav was just catching up to him as well, and he just let a slap shot go from the point and went past Phil.
Quick from range. It's one of those ones if a goaltender's warm, but sometimes that first shot from range you can just can't quite get your eye in, and that's the way it goes. Well, while I remember on, those of you, if you've got messages for us, you can drop them in. You can text us direct to the studio 07716 672 874, and we can if you start your messages with TTGW, time to go wild, TTGW, we can make sure they get out to our guest of the evening. I'm just thinking, perhaps we should have some wise words. Do you think we should have some wise words?
Yeah.
I think it's time for a few wise words. I make sure I do that and do this. And now on Time to Go Wild Radio, it is time to sit back and relax and enjoy Mike Marr's Monday Mantra.
And Mike Marr's Monday Mantra is as follows. Saturday we were short-benched, with players having to play out of position. But as a team we pulled together and got the win in a very scrappy game. On Sunday we had a sloppy second period, but then increased the intensity in the third to put the game to bed. More words from Mike Marr next week.
Join us again next week for more wise words on Mike Marr's Monday Mantra. He's quite quietly spoken most of the time, I think, is Mike.
Yeah.
But he does come out with some interesting bits, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has his nice little words that he says in the changing rooms odd times. Yeah.
So who would you say in the dressing room sort of has those words of inspiration other than Ollie?
Ollie always has his little chat first, says what he needs to say, and then, new club captain offered. Yeah, he's really stepped up this year. He always kind of gets the team fired up, if I'm honest. Says some really, he's really experienced as a player, so... he's got some stuff to say, and then Biff steps up and stands up and has a nice little quote that he says.
Remind everyone who Biff is.
Mike. So he stands up and says a little quote that he says just to get the team going a bit more. So
is it a different quote every week, or is it?
Every week, yeah. He always comes up with something new. So he has to get his phone out there. I don't think he can quite memorise it yet.
Well, but no, that's why I like his mantras.
It shows good team spirit there, isn't it?
It does.
Change room's good. It is good.
Yeah.
So how did you... we haven't spoken to you since you became assistant.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So how did you feel you've settled into that role?
Personally, I think I've done all right. It's a new kind of challenge, separate from kind of like just a normal play. You got to speak to certain players or even speak to the referees on the ice. I got the call from Molly when unfortunately Dippy left, so things got moved around. Got a call off Al, and he asked me, so obviously I'm not going to turn it down.
No.
I'm just one of those guys that would do anything for the team, whether it's on the ice, off the ice. So I think I've stepped up, I'd say, quite well.
Yeah. So for the benefit of the listeners, who's allowed to talk to the referee?
Captains or assistants.
Yeah.
So players shouldn't really be
not ideally, no.
The ears of the referee at all.
Yeah, no, definitely not. They can get misconducts or anything like that if a referee takes it a bit, personally or something like that. Then you can get penalties that way.
Yeah, there are times when I've been watching games and been seeing the referee getting hounded by players and players and player coaches, and there's no assistant, there's no captain there. He's getting absolutely hounded. It's a case of pick one, send the rest away.
Yeah,
but they're hounding, and they wouldn't give penalties, and it's like, why?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of clamping down on it, I think, a bit more now. Last couple of games, if they are kind of getting that harassed, they just literally say, everyone, I just want captains only. So we all, scare away, and Offord will go over and have whatever words he needs. So refs, I think, are getting better at it, but, the odd times you still get the odd players go over and try and have a chat with them. So.
Give them grief.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, in terms of, one thing some people might not be familiar with is why. Some clubs they do 3 assistants. Some they do. You always like to have 2 plus captain. I have an idea why it might be, but do you know any of the reasons why that you have a captain and 2 alternates?
I can just only imagine it'd be, the odd times, again, if players can't make a game, if Offord can't make a game, there's me and Stu there, but you'd probably have a 3rd assistant as well. It's all I can probably base it on, to be fair.
In a lot of it, part of my suspicion, I'm wondering if it sort of stems around more like the 3-line system. So you try and spread the lettered players between each line. So if there is an incident, there is always at least a player with a letter on the ice who can address an official. I'm wondering if that's also often the case.
Well, you captain and assistants on first line in Offord and Stu.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I'm more of a 3rd line. But if it's say on second line, Offord or someone like that will just either come off the bench, or because we're allowed to, obviously.
Yeah.
You just go off the bench and have a skate over and have a word that way, and you can't get penalised. So
that is the one thing. Some people wonder how come so and so's leaving the bench, but they're an official of the team. You're allowed to, whereas somebody else just can't just dive off the bench and go over unless they are. Occasionally, players are injured or not able to make it, so they nominate other players on the game sheet so the refs are aware who can come and speak to them. Otherwise, it's like, oh, sorry. Yeah, you've been leaving the bench.
Yeah, of course.
So, we were chatting before we came on air, and one sort of a question I always try and watch for line changes, and elaborate to our listeners about how that works in terms of different ways you can be playing. You can be called off, or how do you know when you're in the depths and the intensity of a game when you should change lines?
So, ideally, shift patterns, you're looking at about 30 to 45 seconds ideally. Sometimes they can go up to anything up to about a minute, but as a player, if you're putting in 110% every shift, you're going to come off about every 30. So you kind of know physically when you're tired, you should be coming off. There's other times where you know your line mates really well. So if you're on the puck possession and you're making a pass and you see it someone else, whether it could be Ollie or Elvis, then I'd know personally, well, that's not my line no more. I should make a change, get the lines back to normal, and then we can rotate through 1 to 3 again. So that's usually the indications.
I mean, there's certain tactics different teams use in different ways to change a line, particularly as the ebb and flow of the game's going. And one, I mean, this is going back a number of years. I mean, one that always frustrates me is what I call dump and change, where the team in possession get over one blue line, the red line, cut to the second blue line, and often if they're on the opposite side of the rink to their own bench, they just dump the puck down the boards to behind the goal and skate back. And it's like, well, I would have always thought possession, but is that often just depending upon how the game's going, what you might use? Yeah,
again, you know, the dump and chase depend on what kind of game you're playing. If you're playing a trap system, you can kind of just get over that red, maybe just before the blue, put a little soft chip in, get your line out, the next line ready, and they can form that trap in the middle. So you can stop that possession kind of coming through, and you're trying to plug that middle, to gain possession back. So you're not too far back towards your own goal, and then you're pretty much straight back on the attack again.
Well, there you go. Well, that's really helpful. That's helped me understand it. And I've been watching a number of years.
It's the way it should go.
It should go, yeah. I mean, there was some lovely manoeuvres last night. I mean, one of the favourite goals I like to see is the coast to coast. And there's very few players who can pull that one off. I mean, we do have Elvis who's managed to pull it off a couple of times.
He is pretty good at that kind of stuff, isn't he?
Them and breakaways. I mean, some players can be brilliant at breakaways, and some players are hopeless. We'll flip it round and put the same player on penalty shots, and the one who's hopeless at breakaways can nail penalty shots, and vice versa. I mean, what sort of player would you say you are?
Well, I don't probably get many breakaways, to be fair, and I definitely don't take any penalty shots. I mean, in training, I only really have a couple of moves. In training, I'm not too bad at a penalty shot, but I'm definitely nowhere near getting a breakaway anytime soon.
So, I mean, there's some. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's sort of players on the squad that you haven't played alongside that have come back. I mean, we've got Bracey's come back. Did you play alongside Bracey?
No, I've never played with Bracey. Obviously, when he played for the Wild, I was still down Nottingham, so I think he left when I came up.
Right.
Never played with, obviously, Bobby until last year. Elvis is new.
Yeah. I take it in your travels you didn't come up against Elvis as a player?
No, never came up against him as a player, which I'm quite grateful for. So.
He's a bit of an unknown quantity for a lot of players, isn't he, Elvis?
I think unless, like you say, you've come up against him in the past, I think pretty much for this whole league now, he's going to be a new quantity to most people.
I think all the Telford last night were trying to double team him.
I think you kind of have to, I swear, just to put him off his game.
I think he did knock him onto his backside at one point, but he was just caught unawares.
Caught in quite well. So.
But I was thinking, you've just knocked Elvis over. He's gonna get you.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he'll
in a nice way. So I mean, actually, I think we're going to be for a song. And I think, to be honest, if you got hit by Elvis, this next song would pretty much sum it up, wouldn't you? It'd be this Billy Joel one, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, just about.
So Lee, go on, introduce it.
It's Billy Joel. Tell her about it.
It helps if you play the right bed. I'm just confusing you all by playing the results bed when I should be playing the one for the news and items of the week. Here we go. So, now I've got the right music playing. don't forget, it's worth checking out the Widnes Wild website for all of your stuff on Puckers Pals. Your own and loan shirts, games for 75 and your warm-ups for 60. Your highlights, podcast, season tickets and sponsors zones. If you want to know any of the details, check out widneswild.co.uk. And as we get details of the next coach, we'll be letting you know.
And on Sunday the 5th of November, we're away to the Altrincham Aces, face-off at 5 p.m. The Women's Wild, just put my teeth back in, the Widnes Women's Wild have got a game against the Swindon Top Cats on Sunday the 5th of November at home. Then on Saturday the 11th, we play the Blackburn Hawks D2 away, and the face-off is at 5:45. On Sunday we play the Sutton Sting at home. That's Sunday the 12th. And on Sunday the 19th we play the D-side Dragons D2. So all the games on Sundays at home start at 5:30. The only loan shirts that are still available are Darren Brace Girdles away and warm up, Nick Manning's warm up, and Tom Jackson's away shirt.
So don't forget, get your names down for those. Yeah, it is worth it. There's only 4 left. Come on. There's people out there that want them.
There is one other event that we have to mention.
Yes.
It's on the 19th of December. It is the Around the World in 80 Days. There are 2 performances, one at 11 a.m. and one at 7 p.m. at the Widnes Ice Rink. Tickets, you need to go onto the Ice Rink's website because the different prices for different areas.
Yeah. There. Now, we're going to bring you a couple of items of news. Well,
good.
The first one, actually, when I call up the page, there it is regarding the Guildford Flames v Dundee Stars, and it's an unusual one for a game to get cancelled for ice problems, but the Guildford Flames have said the Flames and Spectrum apologise for the abandonment of the Sunday match. Season ticket holders for them have been contacted, and all ticket purchasers for the game will be contacted, purchasers that is, by the Spectrum box office to make ticketing arrangements. The Flames and Spectrum appreciate the support this club receives, and we look forward to many better nights ahead, and we will continue as we continue our first Elite League season. So yeah, a very unfortunate one. We're suspecting that game against the Dundee Stars will get replayed, so those of you keep an eye on the Elite League, that's the best we have on that one. Our second item of news, I think, is a congratulations is in order, and I think Lee would like to sort of echo this one.
Thomas Jackson, TJ, got his first goal on Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a nice little goal. Thought Bezzy got the touch at the back, but no, I think TJ got it in the end, so well done, I guess.
So after not getting a point, the only player, not out-skating player, not to get a point, he finally gets himself not just a point but a goal.
Yeah.
So congratulations to TJ.
Goal as well.
Our second congratulations goes out to our very own Puck of the Penguin spokesman, Barry Sprakes.
Yes, and Barry played for the Edinburgh Capitals on Saturday.
Yes, Saturday up in Edinburgh against the Manchester Storm. Barry was backup goaltender for the Edinburgh Capitals, and it is there officially on the game sheet, #62, Barry Sprakes for the Edinburgh Capitals. Congratulations to Barry.
He'll be buzzing.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, yeah. And our final bit of news from our neighbours down the road: Scott McKenzie has departed from the Dragons. And it's also been released today that Scott McKenzie has joined the Telford Tigers D1. So yes, a few moves around, changes, and congratulations throughout people in the world of hockey over the last few days. Oh, it's all going, isn't it?
Just about.
That'll make the side interesting, won't it?
Yeah, it's going to make for a very interesting turn of events. Now, a little bit of table talk, I think. Looking at the D1 table. Just a quick look. So, yes. Ooh, here we go. Ironically, this is quite an interesting one. From bottom to top there for Scott McKenzie.
Yeah.
I'm not picking on Scott. Please don't take it that way. But the Dragons currently still bottom of the D1 Morley League, and Telford Tigers are at the top of the D1 Morley League. So, it's quite a spread on that league, because you've got the top 7 teams ranging from 9 points to 18, and then you've got the bottom 3 teams on 3 and 2.
Yeah, bit of with Nottingham making the step up. They've done really well. Got the first win the other week, and some of the results, I think they got tipped to be whitewashed, but they're doing really well, to be fair.
If you actually look at their scores, it's 21 goals for, 43 against. So it's actually, they've lost 2-1.
Exactly, yeah.
Basically, by 2 goals to 1 ratio on every game. So they've not actually shipped and scored that many. In fact, Solihull Barons are the ones who, for me, have shipped the most with 53, but they've scored 67, which is actually the highest on the table. So it's quite a difference, that.
Yeah.
But, so that, Nottingham Lions, though they might not be winning, they're actually very tight games, 4-2 games effectively from that scoreline. If we move across to Laidler, and I look at the computer to wake up, a little bit of a different spread. You've got the top 8, ranging from 7 to 21. Now that seems quite a large spread, but actually it's steps. It is actually steps. Yeah. And then you've got the 2 new guys in the league, the Blackburn Hawks D2 and the Dragons D2, on 2 points and 1 point respectively. But the shame there is, those guys, they are finding their feet in the league. A lot of them,
of course. A lot of them are rec players that are making the step up to league. So, as you say, I think they're shipping over 100 goals already in 10 games. Yeah. You wouldn't think it's ideal, but for teams like that, it's not a bad kind of thing. No. They just, like you say, find the feet, keep plugging away, and Blackburn won. I think it was against D-side, and I think that went to overtime, so that's where D-side's points come from. But
when you actually look at the results for, I've just called up the Dragons as a Dragons D2 team, and when you actually look against Blackburn, it was 6-7. Against Coventry 2-7, Bradford Bulldogs 2-5, the Telford Tigers actually was an interesting one, 5-8.
Yeah, went to that game.
So they're quite close. But then when you've got the teams who are flying higher up the table, Telford are actually flying quite well. You've got another one which is a 1-16, 1-23 against the Senators, 0-14 against Altrincham, 4-16 against Altrincham. It must be tough when you're on a team that's getting that kind of a pace.
Like you say, when you're playing teams like Sheffield, I think of most of their guys have been together for years down at Senators. Aces, even though they've got about 7 or 8 of the old Eagles, there's still a core of oldie players there. So I think against teams like that, obviously we haven't played D-side yet, looking for like 30 there, but not really joking. But again, I think they're just coming up against
Kemp's going to
experience.
Score a hat-trick.
I think it's just experience. You see it across any league. It's happening in the Morley, even in the Elite League. Yeah, teams like Edinburgh and stuff like that. So
but there are also some surprise results that can get to another head. There you've got a prime example. I'm just looking at the scores again. You got Manchester against Edinburgh, where Manchester beat Edinburgh, who Manchester are newer than Edinburgh to the Elite League. Manchester 9, Edinburgh 0, and then conversely on the Sunday, you've got Milton Keynes v Manchester, where Milton Keynes, who are the newest guys, having stepped up from the now defunct EPL, beat Manchester 3-2.
Yeah,
and anything can happen. Even Edinburgh have had some really good surprise results against your Nottinghams and Sheffields and Belfasts of the Elite League, and hockey's one of those things where anything can happen.
That's a typical saying, isn't it? Anything can happen in hockey. You can win numerous goals one day and be on the end of a loss the other day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think I need to play this now. Why good, the bad and the ugly? Well, of course, it's our bit on the rules. Courtesy of our good league people of the NIHL, we have our league Team Stripies quiz from last week. So, Lee, you can comment on a couple of these. Question 1 from last week. Yeah, these are number 3. An offside call. On an offside call, what determines the side of the ice the resulting face-off will take? A, the side the player went offside, or B, the side the puck was on when it entered the zone?
Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
A or B?
I'd say A.
It's B.
I'm rubbish
The
at
side
offsides.
of the ice the puck was on when it entered the zone. Rule 80.1.1.
Yeah, but Lee never gets offside.
Yeah,
It doesn't get that.
yeah.
You get
He's
your
never offside ever.
I'm
your
definitely
nose
not
bleeds when you get that
forward
far.
for that far.
Okay, question 2. Team A is short-handed and the penalty on the clock is about to elapse. As this happens, Team A shoots the puck down the ice. What is the determining factor for icing? A, the puck being fired before the penalty expired, or B, the puck crossing the goal line before the penalty has expired. So it's the puck being fired before the penalty expires, or the puck crossing the line behind the goal.
I'd say crossing the line.
No. It's Rule 66 icing the puck games specifies whether a team is short-handed or not. It is determined by the number of players on the ice at the time the puck is shot. If the penalty box door is open but the player has not stepped on the ice, he's considered to be on the ice. So there you go. Right.
For next game.
Question 3. Following a warning to Team A for a line change after an icing call, Team A commit a second infraction of trying to make a player change after an icing call. What call is made by the referee?
Oh, that's just it's 2 minutes, isn't it?
It is, but what's the 2 minutes?
Is it delay a game?
It is. 2
Yes.
minutes delay in the game. Right, so
He redeemed
now,
himself at the end.
normally we would ask the questions, but we have the answers this week as well, so we can discuss all of it. So here we go. Week 4. Name the 3 types of offside other than normal stroke regular offside.
Didn't even know there was 3.
I know one of the 3. There's intentional offside.
Oh, and the puck will come back down to your
Right.
end.
There's delayed offside, and there's an offside pass. So there they are. I know of intentional offside because that's when you deliberately pass it to someone who's offside.
Yeah, if
and
you know your player's still in the their zone, you
Yeah.
purposely go in.
Right. Now this is a tricky one. For hybrid icing, when there is no race for the puck, what 2 things have to happen before the front linesman can blow for icing?
Wow.
Oh, any ideas? Doug?
Probably something to do with the goalie, is it? Is it goalie movement?
Nope, not goalie.
It's players, isn't it?
It is actually.
It's who you think's going to get to the puck first.
Close-ish. The answer apparently is a defending player must cross his blue line and the puck must cross the icing line. So basically he's got to cross the blue line and the puck's got to have crossed the goal line at the back for icing. So there you go. And our final one. Question 3 from this week. Team A is assessed a bench minor penalty for too many men on the ice. At the same stoppage of play, Team A requests a stick measurement of Team B's player, and the stick is found to be legal. Okay? Resulting in a second bench minor penalty to Team A. How many players must Team A put in the penalty box?
2.
Lee? 1 or 2?
Again, I would have just probably said 1 for 4 minutes, with it being a 2-2.
I would have gone with Doug. You're gone it right.
Yes.
Because he serves a 2+2. So I would have actually thought there'd have been two at the same time,
separate
giving you a
occasions.
5-on-3 for 2 minutes. But no, you get a 5-on-4, 2+2.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Because they're both classed as delaying the game. Oh no, well, one's too many men and the other one's a delay in the game, technically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Not too bad.
So we'll have more of those next week. So yes, I think they're really good.
Yeah, I might have to look through the rule book, to be fair, on some of them.
Yeah, because when we quizzed the referee the other week about a call from an NHL game, and they were like, the linesman went, yeah, it's one thing about it was a penalty shot.
Yes.
And it was all about the goaltender had touched the puck, even though he hadn't actually saved it, because the puck continued moving forwards. But because he touched the puck with his stick, and then the player regained control while the puck's still moving forward and put it in the goal, it's no goal.
Wow. I thought if the puck was still moving forward, it would have counted.
It's not, because the goaltender has interrupted the play. It's supposed to be uninterrupted. It's classed as a second touch of the puck.
So if the player had left it alone and it had gone in, it would have been a score.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because he had another go back in.
Yeah.
Behind it.
Oh.
It's one of those it's one of these things that I always get frustrated with in football. When you have a penalty, in a shootout, it's penalty shootout in football, it's a shot to the goal, that's it. Whereas in a penalty in play, they can score rebounds.
Yeah.
But in hockey, it's just a penalty shot. One go, that's it. And sometimes it, depending upon whether or not it's for or against the team you're supporting, you can like them or so yeah. Actually, Doug, you mentioned about another penalty that we heard about at the weekend that you hadn't seen.
Oh yes, a penalty for resisting.
Yes. Have you ever had that one called?
No, I've never had that called on me personally, no. And to be fair, I haven't seen that very often.
I think the nearest I've seen called for that would be excessive roughness, where a player just continues and has to get dragged off. But in terms of resisting, that's something different. That one.
It's where the player's been asked to leave by the referee and he refuses and has to be escorted. So you've actually disrespected the referee twice. Which is why you got a 20 for it.
Yeah, you've got a game.
It happened twice in one game. It was rather weird.
Yeah.
So is that the referee's got a new rule book and actually knows all the rules?
Yeah, probably.
It's not. It's serious bedtime reading is the rule book.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, all 148 pages on it.
Yeah. Oh, there was another one I was going to mention now. Which one was it? It'll come back to me. So, of course, I hope everyone's enjoying Time to Go Wild Radio this evening. I mean, Lee, it's been great having you here.
Oh, always a pleasure.
Yes. So, looking forward to this coming weekend.
Yes, obviously. Always looking forward to Altrincham.
The derby.
Yeah, going into overtime last time we played them.
Oh, yes.
Could have maybe held out for the 1-0. They got that late goal, so... But we're glad to have won it in overtime, so hopefully... We'll go down to theirs, and I'm sure it'll obviously be another tight game.
Oh, I doubt it.
Hopefully. But yeah, hopefully we'll come away with the 2.
It is a big one. I mean, depending upon what people are doing out there, depending on what kind of a hockey fix, you've got 2 choices. You either come over to Altrincham, support the Wild, make some noise on Sunday the 5th against Altrincham, or if you want to stay at home, get yourselves down to Silverblade's Widnes, and the Widnes Wild Women take on the Swindon Tomcats. They'll be very, very grateful for your support, won't they, Doug?
Yeah, they will, yes.
Yes. The women had a bit of a stutter to the first game, but
it's like any game when you first come back to playing together.
Yeah.
Because you've got a few new players who don't particularly know the line changes in the systems, and when they bedded in on sort of that third period, they looked a lot better. They did.
Is there, I mean, in terms of how you've seen the squad develop from over the years that you've been with Widnes, how would you say, is there anything significant that you said to change season on season?
I think this season we seem to be an actual kind of unit. Obviously when Scott was in charge, it was a good changing room. We had a lot of the good boys, and obviously, you know, Scott leaving and a couple of the players leaving, and, you know, Ollie coming in, and obviously Stu and Turner and everyone like that. So like Doug said, you know, you know your people. So I think this year, now that we've been more or less together a year or over, we're looking really strong this year. The changing room's a lot more together.
The passing at times, you have moments when it's a bit wayward, but
Yeah.
people do know where each other are.
The ideas are there with the passes. You can see where players are looking forward instead of thinking, "Well, I've got to go." They're actually in the position ready to take that's
the
excellent pass.
You know, knowing your systems. You know, when it comes to Thursday night training, and Holly gets us, you know, to our systems and through the drills, and so we just know what we're doing at the weekend.
Just as a quick shout out from some of our listeners saying, "Oh, we love Lee" online. So thank you for getting in touch.
Cheers, thanks.
I mean, one of the things with Lee's being in the new position you are in, how do you think that having the certain players in certain positions of authority helps with the changing room? So you mentioned Simon Offord has got a lot of experience and he's now become captain, and he can pass that down into the players. And yourself, who've been in Widnes since almost year dot, and then you got Stuart, who came in last year.
Yeah.
So you've got a nice mix of players which have gelled together this year.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, Offord, I think, used to captain teams when he was younger and stuff like that. So, as you say, he's brought that experience in. You know, I've assisted teams in Nottingham before, so, you know, but, I mean, assistants, you know, there's a few of the lads in the changing room, to be fair, that, you know, can do that kind of thing. They're very vocal. You know, they're passionate for the game. You know, you can see it kind of on the bench. You know, you've got certain players that are probably more vocal than others. You know, so we've got a lot of leaders in this team this year. So it's nice to see.
That's just good.
Well, we're running out of time, so we're going to have basically get half a song in. But it's been really good, really informative. You helped us understand a few extra rules. Learned a few yourself.
Picked up a few myself as well.
So well, I'll be back tomorrow night from 10 with my musical Madness from the Box of Delights. Doug and I'll be back next Monday night from 7.
Yes.
With more from Time to Go On.
Hopefully we're not coming on the back of a win.
Well,
and again, have another player in, because it's good to have players in, because we can discuss things amongst ourselves, but having you here is much better.
Always gives you extra perspective. So, I'm going to play out with one little bit of Bon Jovi, shall we have?
Yeah, why not?
So, what's it going to be then?
It's Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
And from Time to Go Wild Radio for another week. Till next week, ta-ra.
Good night.